Hey there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal at today's video is to walk you through a good checklist or our checklist when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant. Now if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now we're a virtual assistant agency to XU, and I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, so make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant, it can be confusing of like where to start, what are things that you need before. So I want to walk you through that process if you're someone who's considering on hiring a virtual assistant. And if you guys want to go through this whole checklist as an assessment, 2XU does have its own checklist assessment where you guys can check it out basically on 2XU.com/assessment on just a walkthrough of this whole checklist and the things that you can take action on. Now right off the bat, the first thing you need to prepare when hiring a virtual assistant is just a list of the key tasks and projects in your business. The reason why you need this is when you are onboarding someone into your company, you need to be able to give them context of where your business is at. Like what are the different projects you're working on and what are the key tasks that you are going to be the only one who can do it, and then what are things that they would be able to do. One of the easiest ways you can figure out what tasks to delegate is to see, hey, is this vital to my business? Like if I don't do this, will things explode? And what are the functional tasks? What are the things that they need to get done in the business in order for it to run smoothly? So figuring what those two are, and I do have a whole video on how to figure out what tasks to delegate. Using that as a filter will help make it easier for you to, again, give some of the context as they're going into your business. And also, again, listing out the projects that is concerning those tasks basically is going to be helpful when it comes to just mapping out where your business is at as you onboard this next person. It'll also make it easier for you to create the job description later on because you already know what are the things that they're going to be working on once they're in your business. Next is, with that, you want to create a list of repetitive tasks. Now, this is always a good, safe bet of these are things that an assistant can do for you. So you want to look at your business and look at what are the daily, weekly, monthly things that need to happen for your business to keep running smoothly. So again, you're focusing on the functional tasks inside of your business. What are the things that you do need to just keep it running smoothly? What are the things that you need to make sure that things don't fall through the cracks? So kind of figuring all of that out is going to be important, again, as you're kind of getting someone in. So these could be tasks like managing your calendar, managing your email. This could be tasks like making sure you send follow-ups, or this could be newsletters that you send out every single week. Or this could also just be social media posts that you're doing right now by yourself and can easily be taken over by an assistant. Next is, once you have these key projects and tasks, you have the repetitive tasks that need to happen, you need to create a good delegation system for yourself. Now, what I mean by a good delegation system is a way for you to be able to capture tasks and give it to someone else. Now, there's different delegation systems that you can use. The main two that I usually just have our clients focus on is, are you someone who likes to give tasks through text? Or are you someone who prefers voice, like doing voice messages or voice recordings? Because again, it will vary depending on who you are and what makes sense to you. So for example, for me, I use a little bit of both. I sometimes just give text, just quick ones to my EA, or it could be like while we're doing meetings, it's the time for me to be able to give them tasks because then I can explain things. Or if I'm really busy, I will just do a voice note on WhatsApp of like, hey, can you make sure that this gets done? This way, there is a record of when you gave the task to the assistant. There is a way to check like, hey, how long has this been on your to-do list? And there's a way for you to see, hey, has this been stuck on here? Or hey, it's done. You can now review and just see what it was at the end. Next is, speaking of email, is making sure that you have a good email management system with yourself. Like, do you have a way where you can get to inbox zero? You can't expect your EA to just figure it all out of like, hey, this is my preference, this is what I'm like doing. You need to have a way where you are already seeing like, hey, I spend about 2 to 5 hours a day on my email. I really want to get that cleaned up where I don't have to spend that much time. These are the labels that I will use if I'm the one going through the email. These are the labels you would use, so that it's easy for them to kind of see, oh, this is your ecosystem. This is the way that you've been operating your business, and it's easy for them to integrate themselves and added improvements as they go on. This can be super straightforward and simple just based on how you usually clean your email anyway, but having a system where someone can easily pick it up so you don't have to be the one looking at it, you can just look at the things that are important to you. It's going to be helpful once you have an EA. The next thing that you want to make sure that you have is a good calendar management system. So this could be ranging from knowing where people can book things from you, so having your Calendly or your Equity, whatever software that you're using, set up, so then it's easy for your EA to be able to see, like, hey, what are the times that are usually available? Or it could be them actually managing your calendar. What are the ways that you can know that this is a very important event? And what are the ways that, hey, this is something that I can actually skip? So for example, for my own system with my assistant, I have basically just a mountain, boulder, rocks, and pebbles meeting. So mountain meetings are immovable meetings. These are things that will happen no matter what. Boulder meetings, they can be moved. It takes just a lot more effort. Rocks meetings are ones where it's usually check-ins, it's usually something that's a little bit more flexible. And of course, Pebbles meeting, I probably don't even have to attend, probably something I'll delete in my calendar someday or somewhere in there. So that's how I rank my own priorities for the calendar events that I go to, and something that's going to be important for your assistant to know as well. Speaking of systems, the next thing you want to make sure that you set up is a way for them to capture or just have a standard operating procedures database. So basically what is going to be in here is these are things where the how-tos in your business, the different walkthroughs, the different videos you might have created on how to do a certain tasks, these are where it all will be captured. The important thing about having this in one place is it essentially becomes an employee manual, so they understand if they're stuck on one thing, where is the usual way that this is getting it done. The next thing you need to have with that is having your setting operating procedures template. So having a clear and precise way where if your assistant was the one creating these SOPs, is that what's the template that you like to use? What makes sense for you that will then bleed out for the rest of the company as you start growing your business? Next is making sure that you have at least one of these SOPs created. So then again, your assistant has something that they can model after. They don't have to figure things out all by themselves. Well, this is something that they can figure out. Having something that you've created that they can see, like, oh, this is the standard that they want from me, so then they can have that, they can set that, and if they have any improvements, they can suggest the same. But basically, how are you going to check if they're working on the right things, how many hours of work, so on and so forth. Next thing that you need before hiring an assistant is settling on your tools for managing your virtual assistant. First thing you need is a time tracker. How are you going to manage the hours that they're doing? There's a lot of different tools out there. I actually have a whole video on different tools that you can use. You guys can check that out. But basically, how are you going to check if they're working on the right things, how many hours of work, so on and so forth. Second thing is a task tracker, a way for you to see what are they working on, what are things that were done, what are things that are for review, all of that jazz. I have, again, a whole video on how to create a task management system. But essentially for us in 2XU, we use Notion. If you guys want to check that out and see, I am an affiliate of Notion. You guys can check out leanlai.com/Notion to sign up and actually just do a little bit of a trial because it is amazing. It's free to up to a certain point. Honestly, up to that certain point, it takes a while to get that certain point, especially if you use the personal category of Notion and not just the business right away. And it's just a way for you and your assistant to work together and see what are things that are getting done. Next is a tool for paying them. Are you going to be paying them through PayPal, Payoneer, Wise? There's a lot of different platforms out there and tools and things that you can use. But the important thing is just there's a way for them to be able to receive money safely. So then of course they want to keep showing up for you and your business. And lastly, a really good tool that would be amazing to have is just a communication tool. What's your preferred way to talk to your assistant? Is it going to be through WhatsApp like me? Is it going to be through Slack? Is it going to be through Facebook Messenger? As long as you have a place where your assistant knows that they can bug you there, they can talk to you there, it's going to be essential for them to be able to just have that communication with you back and forth. Now, speaking of communication, one of the biggest things that you have to prepare for when it comes to hiring a virtual assistant is having a communication system. So what I mean by this is how often do you want to talk to your assistant? What are the ways that they can check in with you? So for example, for me at 2XU, we recommend having a once a week weekly agenda meeting to set up what the week would look like and a daily sync. Now the weekly agenda meeting usually takes longer, about 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how many projects you guys are working on. But that's basically what it is you're going through the projects, what are the tasks, what are the priorities for the week. The daily syncs is basically such check-in to see where all of that is going. And also because you're an entrepreneur, a lot of things can change within the day that you're working with them. So you want to make sure that you are able to give them the tasks that you need to delegate to them, or maybe even change the priorities that you guys have set at the beginning of that week. The point of communication systems is one of the ways that I've seen client and virtual assistant relationships break down over and over again is just the lack of having that. So it's really important that you already have that set, that you have in your head, that you will be talking to your assistant more times than your family probably in a day, just because they're trying to make sure that things get done with you there. Because if they get stuck, if things fall through the cracks, there has to be a way where they can bring that up, where they're not scared that they're going to be punished or bad things will happen to them. That there's a way like, hey, this is how we're going to solve this. This is going to be the way of how we're going to go through this. When it comes to hiring a virtual assistant, it's really essential that you have different things set in place. And these are things that we help a lot of our clients with, because it's really things that, as we've kind of been working in this industry for a while, makes or breaks the relationship of someone who can help you generate more income in your business. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below. Do you have any tips for anyone who's looking for an assistant right now? I would love to know more tips from other people as well. Now, if you guys still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of our videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out those two playlists right here and the latest video right here. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!